Hey, what's up, Roxstars? It's Rox with a little bit of talk about what's at the top of the blog.
Pen rotating my stylus. Brokenness feeling like sin. Now no breath, low dollar. Used to be left on red. Now all the girls go holler.
Roxstars, before we get started, just a little housekeeping. You know, every now and then I have to sit down and have a conversation with the Roxstars. Y'all know y'all my family, right? I feel like we got a good thing here. I think we have good understanding with each other. And one thing I hate is to be misunderstood. You know I'm not gonna be everybody's cup of tea. I know I'm not gonna be loved or even liked by a lot of people, and that is fine. But I would rather, if you did feel that way about me, that it would not be over a misunderstanding, okay? So, with that being said, you guys, I have anxiety issues, and I know I've shared that with you guys before in the past. I've had it since I've been in my 20s. Since I was in my 20s, I ain't in my 20s no more, but since I was in my 20s, I was having anxiety issues. I've been on medication for it before. I'm not currently on medication because I now know how to manage my anxiety. I've learned how to see what triggers my anxiety. I learned how to know when it's coming, and I kind of feel like when it is coming that I have to do things to protect my peace and keep me from going into that space where I'm just feeling like I need to make a visit to the doctor, okay? With that being said, a lot of the things, I want you guys to remember what Top of the Blogs, the video, is supposed to be about. This is an entertainment gossip blog video. I've told you guys that many, many times before. I know in the past that I've talked about world issues. I've talked about other things that's happening, and I still will do that sometimes in my Top of the Blogs video. But I try to avoid a lot of those type of topics because, one, it's not entertainment gossip. Two, it doesn't make me feel good. And at the end of the day, I have to be most concerned about what I know is going to help me, be able to sleep at night, okay? So I don't want people to think that when, I ask you guys for topics, and I ask that because a lot of the times, I'm working all week. I'm not really on social media. I'm not even really knowing the fullness of what is going on social media. So I ask you guys for the topics. You guys definitely help me put Top of the Blogs together. And I've been doing that for many, many years. And I weed through the comments and I pick the subjects that I think that, will make the video entertaining. But when the subjects start to get on topics that either I've talked about like many, many times, and it was like you guys were retiring that topic, or if it's something that I know is going to stress me out, okay, then I will avoid the topic. It's not me avoiding anything from you guys because, hell, I'm asking you guys for the help. And I really, really appreciate, many of you guys probably list shit all week and be ready for me when I ask on Wednesday night. You guys have all the topics and I truly, truly appreciate that. But certain topics stress me out. Yes, I am so totally aware about what is going on in the world today. These damn UFOs. We talked about the banks when the shit messed up and money was missing. We talked about shit that's happened at the airports and shutdowns. Now we've got these UFOs going on. It's so many things that are going on in the world today that I am 100% aware of. But them things make me anxious. So I don't like talking about it. I was talking to Deborah yesterday and I was telling her how I was just feeling really, really anxious and I couldn't understand why, because nothing is happening in my life to make me feel like this. But I realized that I had been watching the news earlier and they were talking about shooting down the 4th or 5th flying object, Canada here. It's a whole bunch of weird shit going on. And I think that internally, even though subconsciously, I think I felt like that had made my nerves bad. So I think I feel like I'm heading into that space where I'm about to be triggered into like a full-blown anxiety attack. And that is just really something that I am not going to do. I'm not going to allow to happen. So I don't want people to feel, don't take it personally if I don't talk about the topics that you talk about, that you guys request. It is suggestions, and the video is mine, and I'm going to do what I feel like I want to do in my video at the end of the day. But I do respect everybody, their suggestions, the things that they ask. And I know you guys are gonna be like, Roxanne, you don't have to explain these kind of things. And I know I don't have to. Trust me, I am a full grown woman. But I don't like, I don't like misunderstandings, and I don't like people, like, if you just really gonna not want to watch my videos, I want it to be because, there's a real reason, as opposed to you feeling like I'm slighting you, and that's not the case. That's really not the case. It's just a bit just stressed. The world seems like it's heading into a place that is going to be very dark and scary. Once we got into that shit with Ukraine, I had a feeling that some weird things might start happening. And I feel like we're kind of there now. I feel like Russia and China are starting to band together, and that, there may be some things that's coming down the pike eventually. But that, you guys not going to be able to get that news from me. Like, you're going to have to go somewhere else, because I really can't handle it. And that's all that is. Okay, so I just wanted to have the conversation with you guys. Because, we have a good time. And like I said, I truly do appreciate the Roxstars. And, many of you guys have been around for a long time. And so I just, we just have to have the conversation. It's just housekeeping, you guys. Rocky loves the Roxstars. Y'all know that. Okay. And we just going to keep on moving forward with the top of the blogs. But I need everybody to get that understanding together, that Roxanne has to protect her own peace first, okay? Work, stressful. I can't have my YouTube channel be stressful too. I need something, this is my reprieve, this is my fun. This is something where I get together with you guys and we talk and we laugh, and sometimes we might cry, but I can't have stress at work, stress on YouTube. Shit, it got to be balanced. So that's all that is, okay? So I hope you guys understand, and with no more further ado, let's get to the video.
Now all the girls gon' follow, all the fake fans gon' pile up. I need peace to borrow, get that shit right back.
All right, you guys, next story up. I just got a package in the mail that just made me so happy. Peggy, if you watching, I got my package. Love it, love it, love it. Anyway, you guys, first story up. Okay, let's talk about the Super Bowl. Watched the Super Bowl on Sunday and enjoyed it immensely. For whatever it's worth, I'm not a football person, so I couldn't care less about the football game, but just, just the excitement surrounding the day. Anytime the mister gonna get in that kitchen and do a little extra cooking, it does my heart good. So yeah, Super Bowl Sunday was really nice. Of course, we only really here to talk about the entertainment of the evening. First up, the pre-show. So here in Atlanta, now granted, I did have something to drink that day, it was celebrations, but I was watching, but I kind of wasn't watching. So we did have the TV on for the pre-show, and for the pre-singing. Remember, I told you the Stapleton guy was going to be singing last week. Shirley Ralph was going to be singing, and so was Babyface, okay? And, I was especially listening out for Shirley Ralph. I wanted to hear how she was going to sing Lift Every Voice and Sing Till... I was like, okay, auntie. I saw the clip of the singing because here in Atlanta, for whatever reason, they did not show it. Now, I don't know if they showed it other places. They didn't show it here. At first, I thought I was tripping, okay? And at first, I thought maybe I was in the bathroom or went and blew out to the bathroom or something, because I just never heard it. You guys actually had to send it to me on Twitter so that I could actually see auntie performing, you know, in all of her regality and her choir and all of that, child. Why, you know, we as Black people, we gonna give you a. I feel like Shirley Ralph feels like she now has the burdens of all the Black people on her back, you know, that she really has to. I was like, girl, just sing the song, auntie. It's okay. It's okay. But yeah, she sounded like Shirley Ralph. Like I told y'all she was going to sound. We had Babyface was singing America the Beautiful. And it was, you know, yeah, you know, people complain about people singing live or not singing live. I kind of wish Babyface did sing live. Well, I mean, you know what? Babyface has already proven himself to us. He doesn't have to prove anything else, you know. But I just was sort of like, yeah, this is like, I'm going, okay. And then, of course, I did hear Chris Stapleton. I didn't even watch him, but I heard him and the other guy singing. And I mean, you know. It was one of the lesser eventful Star-Spangled Banners. You know, it just was just like, okay, let's get started with the show. Okay. And then I must say also, because I was in that state, that I didn't even really see the commercials. Like I didn't I was just like, I'm really letting the people down. Because I had made it a point not to watch the commercials ahead of time so I could watch it that night. And then, of course, I didn't watch it that night. So the only commercial that I actually did see was the Tubi commercial. And when the channel started changing, you know, I just, like I told you, I was celebrating. I know what the hell was going on, you know, and then I realized that it was the commercial, and, you know, I got a quick little hearty har out of it. But, you know, other than that, I was just sort of like, oh, okay. You know, the game was quite exciting. I mean, it was like back and forth. One team scored, the next team scored, back to the other team, back to the next one. I mean, it was close the whole time. So, I mean, I can stick out a football game when it's something like that. Okay. But, yeah, you know, I was just really there so I could see my girl Rihanna perform. And I enjoyed Rihanna's performance. Now, I understand a lot of people said that's, you know, Rihanna's not a performer, you know, and she don't sing live and she don't do this and she don't do that. I was perfectly fine with the performance that Rihanna gave us. Just the fact that they was on them hydraulic stages going up and down it has set my nerves on edge because I am afraid of heights. Like outside, I can be up high if I'm in a building contained somewhere, but if I am outside and like, there's no way I could have done that. You know, I would have had to be chained in, ain't no movement, none of that, because just that up and down and all of that, yeah, that to me was awesome. Okay. And just seeing Rihanna up on the stage and her dancers, like I just enjoyed everything, you guys. Yes, she was singing over a track. A lot of people do it, you know, so for those times when they feel like maybe they need to take a little break, the track can handle it. And then other times when they feel like they can do it, they can do it. I'm fine with all of that. You know, I had said that on Twitter and some people was like, Beyonce didn't sing. I was just like, I mean, okay, that's fine. But Beyonce has even done it, sing to a track. Remember when she sang Star Spangled Banner at the something for the president or something, remember? And then everybody made a big deal out of the fact she didn't sing live. So then she had to come back and sing live for you guys, just so you guys. Yeah, it happens and it's fine. I'm fine with it. I'm really there for the whole visual. Okay, I want to see the whole package. And I kind of felt like we got that. If Rihanna didn't do it, her dancers handled it for me, you know? And they had a trillion dancers out there. And it was spectacular. Of course, I mean, for me, I know you guys are going to be like, Roxanne, that shit was boring, blah, blah, blah. Okay. I mean, I understand why y'all would say that, but it was cool for me. She did announce, without saying it, that she was pregnant with her second child, you know, and it was funny because Mr. kept on saying, is she pregnant? And I was like, no, I don't think she's pregnant. He was like, she got to be pregnant. Like her stomach, and even at one point when she sang something and said something about life, and she kind of rubbed her stomach. He was like, no, she got to be pregnant. And then Jada, she was in New York, but Jada kept texting me like, Mom, I think Rihanna's pregnant. And I was like, well, maybe she is. And, you know, it turns out that, yes, she is pregnant with her second child. So happy for her. Then I was like, okay, that's really why she wasn't moving around on that damn stage, okay? And she just looked glowy and happy, and, you know, y'all know I love Rihanna, so I was 100% here for all of it, okay? But as far as the actual football game was concerned, Kansas City did win, so congratulations to the Kansas City Chiefs. Mr. said he was going for Philadelphia because he liked the quarterback's story, whatever his story was. I never even looked into the story to see. Blue is awful quiet. He's in the other room. Blue, what are you doing? Blue? But anyway, congratulations to Kansas City Chiefs. You know, they had 2 black quarterbacks. This is the first time I think that had happened in history. It ain't like it's that many black quarterbacks in the NFL anyway. Or from what I understand, starting quarterbacks or whatever, or in general. So, you know, that was something to see. Yeah. Philadelphia did not take it on home, but that still doesn't mean that they aren't champions in somebody's book. So yeah, you know, the Super Bowl was what it was. It was cool. You know, Mr. had cooked a whole bunch of good food and made sushi. I mean, child, we was doing the most around here. And it was just me, Mr. and Joe here. Even Jada, like I said, she was out of town. So, we just, you know, I enjoyed it. You know, of course, anytime that people do these halftime shows, then the conversation becomes who should do the next one. You know, of course, Chris Brown, who actually had shouted out Rihanna, you know, like "Go Baby Girl" or something like that on his Instagram, you know, with a heart and the like prayer emoji or the hands up in the air or whatever. You know, him supporting her. And then somebody said that he should perform in the Super Bowl. And he was just like, no, you know, the Super Bowl will never have me, which is true. They'll never have Chris Brown. Chris Brown is kind of public enemy. He's like the fans love him, but the people that make the decisions in Hollywood and entertainment, the music industry, they tend to stay away from him. So I don't think we'll ever have a Chris Brown performance. There was talk about Usher possibly doing it, and somebody had the nerve to ask if Usher had enough hits to be in the Super Bowl halftime. I was just like, what? It had to be somebody young, child. It had to be somebody that's, you know, going from his newest stuff, you know, the stuff with Ella Mai and, you know, he got this new song, Glue Out. It's cute. It's definitely Usher. I haven't seen the video. I see he has Lori Harvey as the woman of interest in the video or whatever. But absolutely, Usher has enough hits. Absolutely, Usher has enough hits. I mean, Rihanna sang 14 songs in those, however many minutes it was. She was able to get 14 song squoles up in there. Usher definitely has that. Definitely. Okay. And I feel like we would have a good ass time with Usher if he did do the Super Bowl. So that is definitely something that we can look into. Okay. But yeah, you know, I was just like, who asked these asinine and dumb questions? Y'all, if you ain't up on, I'm sure most of y'all, if not all the Roxstars, is up on Usher's game. But if you not, y'all just need to go back and listen to his catalog. It's plenty there. Okay. So yes, I would love to see Usher as a person that performs. And, you know, who else? Can y'all think of any other people that there's still plenty of big names that are out there that can do the Super Bowl halftime show. So yeah, I mean, but otherwise it was cool. It was good. I actually didn't see the whole, after the halftime show, Rocky went on and took a bath and took it to bed. So, I didn't see actually the end of the Super Bowl. I saw the third quarter and then that was it for me. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I had a good time, you know, just being home and eating and drinking and being merry. Okay, y'all have to let me know. Did your team win? Who were you going for? How did you guys enjoy the halftime show, the shows, the folks, you know, lift every voice? and sing. I said, you better sing it, auntie. But yeah, anyway, you guys tell me what you thought about it. Give me your good, your bad, your ugly. Leave all that below. Go check on Blue and see what the hell going on. In something that you wasn't supposed to be in. I knew it. Honey, that Blue was going to town on one of my pumpkins from Halloween that I haven't put up yet in my storage room in there. Anyway, you guys, next story.
Tomorrow, somehow all the fans go bravo. Smile so much to hide my sorrow. State the shaky and vibrato.
This is kind of continuation from the last story. So Rihanna, the woman of the hour. Ever since she made the announcement, or ever since she performed in the Super Bowl, we done got a whole lot, probably more Rihanna than we have in a long time, you guys. There was rumors going around that she was going to announce a tour. There was rumors going around that she was going to announce an album. There was no rumor announcing that she was pregnant. And I think the pregnancy then put all the rest of that on the back burner, okay? I kind of feel like we won't be getting those things from Rihanna. If ever, it will be a long time, okay? Apparently, when she agreed to perform in the Super Bowl, this was before she was pregnant. She found out that she was pregnant shortly after that. And we know that because she did an interview with British Vogue. If you guys saw the beautiful pictures of her man A$AP Rocky, and the little baby boy, we still don't know what his name is. She's very, very protective of that. They have not released it. I don't blame them one bit, you know. But they did a spread in Vogue, and in the interview, you know, she's talking about how she had absolutely no idea when they did that spread that she was pregnant. You know, she talked about feeling like she was going to have an album coming this year, that it would be ridiculous if she hadn't, you know, that she pretty much did all the things that she wanted to do. Like, I feel like she was feeling like everything was complete. Like, her business is going well. Her family life is going well. Okay, now I can finally get back out there and get the music out there to the people and all of that. And now she's pregnant. So I kind of feel like, and the fact that she's really, really absorbed and, you know, clung to this whole mommyhood. She loves it. She loves her family. You know, she seems to be very happy with A$AP Rocky. And so, you know, now that she's pregnant, I feel like she's going to fully engross herself in that whole mommy feel of just, you know. So, yeah, I just don't think that mentally she's there with the music, the whole... You know, that is a whole lot out of your life that you have to commit to when you start putting out albums. People want visuals. That means you got to do videos. And then if people want you to tour, they want you to go. You know, she ain't in that rat race no more. And she doesn't have to be in it. So why would she? Why should she? You know? So, yeah. But she definitely is the woman of the hour. I mean, they talked about her all on the news yesterday. I mean, you know, that in that spread, like I said, from British Vogue is beautiful. She looks amazing. The baby is adorable. I've always thought that A$AP Rocky is a good looking guy. Like, I've always felt like he's actually a very pretty man, you know? So, they look good together. Like, you know, it's just, this is the time for her to be very happy, and I'm happy for her. It would have been nice, though. It would have been nice to get an album. My brother texted me during the Super Bowl, and he was like, not that we are trying to compare Beyonce and Rihanna, but he was like, how many do you think that you know more Rihanna songs or Beyonce songs? And I thought about it, and I was like, well, of course, I know all of Beyonce's, like, hits. Like, anything that they've played on the radio, or now we can say TikTok. You know, those songs I definitely know. I probably have never really fully listened to a Beyonce album other than Lemonade from beginning to end. And I went and got them, and now this. Don't you start that barking. The Lemonade album, I listened from beginning to end, and this Renaissance album, I've listened to beginning to end. Other than that, I've never really listened to her full albums beginning to end, okay? So Rihanna's albums, on the other hand, I've listened to all of them beginning to end. I know all her songs, even the ones that aren't hits, the ones that they don't play on the radio, you know, all of those. So if I were to compare the two, I know more of Rihanna's full catalog, okay? Maybe with the exception of her very first album with Pon de Replay. But other than that, I know all of the rest of her albums beginning to end. So, but that's, you know, that's not a slight to Beyonce, of course. They both have a whole bunch of hits. So, you know, but yeah, it was just an interesting question that he had asked me, and he said he felt the same way. So, but yeah, so you guys let me know which one. I know I got a lot of, I got the Beehive members, and I also have the Navy in here. So you guys can weigh in on that. Didn't you guys think she looked so pretty in the videos? I mean, in the videos, in the pictures from the Vogue. I had posted it on my social media, on my Instagram stories. I loved it. Anyway, I'm so happy for her, you guys. I'm just happy. We've seen her grow up, and she seems to just be doing it so gracefully. So anyway, you guys, that is pretty much that. I've got to move on to the next. As I told y'all, work is honey, you got to be back from lunch when your lunch is over. So next story.
I can't hold a frown too long. I can't stay down too long.
All right, you guys. So the next story up is the unfortunate and tragic story of another school shooting. I don't even know. Again, I don't even know what to say about these anymore. They happen so frequently. And when you talk about something more and more, but nothing is being done about it, it just sort of seems like you spinning your wheels, you know, but you feel like you need to talk about it. But then at the same time, you just be like, why are we talking about gun control and all of that when absolutely nothing happens? I mean, if they don't care about their own kids getting killed in these schools, then what? You know, I don't know how to solve the problem, because it's very, very clear that the Republicans is not trying to let go of their guns, okay? It's just a conversation that I just am tired of talking about. But this time, Michigan State University, there was a shooting. 43-year-old gunman Anthony McCrae went onto the campus, went into 2 different buildings, and shot 5 people that were critically injured, and ended up killing 3 people. Those people are sophomore Brian Frazier, junior Alexandria Werner, and junior Ariel Anderson. Ariel Anderson is the niece or the cousin, I believe, of Delicious. Okay, I think mama named her London Charles, even though y'all told me that ain't what her mama named her. I thought that was her actual name, but whatever her name is, Delicious from Flavor of Love. Remember? Okay. Just so happened on the day that it happened, the shooting happened, she went onto Instagram and said, you guys, please pray for my family. My niece goes to that school. Yeah, I think it was her niece. My niece goes to that school. She was actually in the building that the gunman was shooting in, and we haven't heard from her. Unfortunately, so her niece was the one, Ariel Anderson, who actually was one of the victims. And just, I felt so bad for her, because she had posted that, and then like a little bit later, one of her family members came on and said something like, my beautiful niece or my beautiful daughter, like, rest in peace. It wasn't the mother. It was like either niece or cousin, and rest in peace. And I was like, wait a minute. I mean, what were the odds that that was her actual niece that got killed? And it was. You know, and I can't even imagine having that phone call, you know. And then she went on and posted other stuff about the niece. And, you know, you can tell that the family very, very close to the girl. I mean, just sad. And I'm sure it's the same story for the other two that were killed. It's just that we, you know, see Delicious more. But it is just so awful that out of this whole big university, you know, that's how it turned out for those three people. I mean, it definitely could have been worse. They said that when they had, you know, they had kind of locked down the campus. They were telling everybody to hide, to run. They didn't know where the gunman was. By the time they finally located the gunman, by the time that they went to approach the gunman, he ended up turning the gun on himself and killing himself. Okay. But they found a note on him. Apparently he had his sights on 2 other schools in New Jersey. We don't have any idea why he picked that school, why he was heading to any other schools in New Jersey. They haven't connected those dots for anybody. It doesn't even really matter at this point. It is just a damn shame that, I mean, I feel like it's like copycat. You know, people are hearing that they're shooting every day. So, you know, folks are just like, okay, we just gonna go to the mall and we gonna start shooting. Or we gonna go to the grocery store and we gonna start shooting. Or we gonna go to the post office. We gonna go to the massage, you know, spas. Or we gonna go to the churches and schools. And it's just sort of like wherever people feel like, oh, I'm gonna go over here and shoot up a bunch of people. Especially, you know, people have mental health issues. And this is their way of acting out them issues. I don't know, but it's terrible. Now, the father of the gunman said that back in September of 2020, the gunman's mother had passed. They were very, very close, apparently, like brother and sister instead of like mother and son. And when the mother died, the father said that the son just spiraled, became very depressed, very angry. His words were evil, said that he became like a recluse, wouldn't go out, was playing video games all the time. And then when you look at his social media, he was like kind of looking like he was starting to get to like a religious, fanatical kind of way. And yeah, it's just, you know, we don't never understand why people, when they feel like first of all, I don't want anybody to kill themselves, period. Okay. But when somebody is having suicidal thoughts, it's a shame that they also decide to go and take out the lives of innocent people that have absolutely nothing to do with their life. You know, you just wonder, you just want them to not, you know, you just want them to not also kill a whole bunch of other people while they're feeling whatever way that they're feeling. I mean, ultimately, I wish that people would be able to get the help that is necessary and needed so that they can make it through. You know, it's just, it's a whole lot going on in the world. Like I told you guys, it's a lot going on. People truly have mental health issues. We've seen it a lot more since the pandemic. Okay. And I just, yeah, this one of them stories that I told you that kind of stresses me out, but I felt like I could talk about this one. It's just really bad. And the sad part is nobody knows how to fix this. Because like I said, guns ain't going nowhere. This is the United States. We like our guns. Okay. And, but I don't know what else would need to happen short of them having a damn gun and metal detector at every single entrance to every single public place that you go to, you know, and how possible is that? That's impossible, you know, but it feels like that's the world, the America that we're heading towards, because every time you turn around, somebody got a gun, they shooting. So, you know, prayers up for all of the victims. And as usual, that school, the community, because when things like this happens in a certain community, and Mr. used to work out there, in Lansing, and he was like, that is a true college town. Like, everybody has something to do with the college. And, you know, when something like that happens, it is a big weight on the community. So, you know, prayers for everybody that's out there. The students did have a sit-in, and, you know, they're asking for gun reform, and you just have to shake your head, because you just like, it ain't gonna happen, because they don't care. You know, one of the Roxstars was like, when they went and killed all them kids at Sandy Hook and nothing happened, I mean, if they was fine with second graders getting shot and killed, first graders, however old they were, then yeah, they definitely don't care about no adults, okay? And then did you guys hear the story about how there were a few people there, different students, I think it was like 2 or 3 students who have experienced gun shooting in other schools, like in their high school or middle school, like when they were younger, and survived, and then they experienced the shooting here in Michigan at college as well. What are the odds of something like that happening? That lets you know that it's happening too much. Because I know back when I was in college, the odds of getting shot on the university campus was so low. So low. And I'm sure that those odds have totally changed now, because, I mean, these kids are experiencing this. Yes, it's awful, you guys. So like I said, prayers up to everybody that was involved, the victims, the families. Yeah, it's just a sad story. Y'all tell me what you think needs to be done, if anything. Is this our new normal?
Running from pain, running from strain, running from things, running from...
All right, you guys, next story up. So your boy Chris Cuomo, apparently he was on the show, is it a podcast? It's called Open Book with Anthony Scaramucci, okay? Chris Cuomo was on there. You guys know Chris Cuomo is a former CNN anchor. Remember, he had his own show on there. Everybody enjoyed it. Well, not everybody, but, you know, it was a very popular show on CNN. And remember, he was fired by CNN because they said he violated the ethics of the, you know, their ethical policy, basically, by helping his brother, Andrew Cuomo, who was then the governor. He's a former governor of New York. Remember, Andrew, did I say Anthony? Andrew Cuomo was the former, child, is it Anthony or Andrew? Am I pulling a, don't get old. I keep on telling y'all that. Anthony Scaramucci is the show. Andrew Cuomo is the former governor. Remember, he got in all that trouble with the women were saying that he was sexually harassing them, kissing them, touching them, you know, all this stuff. And Chris Cuomo was helping his brother in the investigation and trying to get the information about the different, you know, who was accusing him. He was involved in all of that. CNN wanted him to not be involved. He needed to stay clear of that, considering that he's on the news every night talking about stuff that's going on in New York and the rest of the United States. So once he was involved in that, they said that he had violated the ethics and they fired him. Chris Cuomo goes on the damn show, this Scaramucci's show, and tells him that he was basically so mad that he was going to kill everybody, including himself, and that he had to basically, almost how many times I'm gonna say basically, he had to accept his firing, because otherwise he was in his head so much that, and he was so angry and just so upset, and it had affected him so much that he felt like he was going to do something crazy. And you know, my feeling, and again, just like I started off this video, like I told you guys, that things can just really trigger people. You don't be knowing what people are going through. That being said, I'm gonna need Chris Cuomo to, you know, I'm glad that he finally did accept the firing and didn't feel like he was going to go kill everybody. You know, I'm sure he might have said that kind of in jest. I'm hoping that that's what he meant, you know, when you say, oh, you know, I was going to kill her ass for doing such and such. You know, you don't really mean that literally. But in today's day and age, you know, you can't even joke about stuff like that. Not when you have the platform that Chris Cuomo have, you know, because now we got to be worried, like, is this another white man that's fixing to go off and get his guns and kill everybody because he got fired? Yeah, I'm sure, you know, he was making quite a bit of money with CNN and everything. But like I said, that don't mean that everybody need to die because you was over there fooling with your brother who was over here groping women. And, you know, even though he apologized and said he didn't realize he was putting these women in this position, it's just sort of like, why you thought you could do that in the first place? And then Chris Cuomo, being on CNN, had to know that he needed to try to stay clear of that. But, you know, he's close to his brother. He wants to help. I mean, I get it. I understand why he did what he did, but I also need him to, like, yeah, I mean, we ain't all got to pay because, you know, what you going through. So I'm glad that he finally accepted it and moved on about his life, you know, and that, you know, he went the legal route. He's now suing CNN for $60 million. That investigation is still going on, you know, trying to see if he was wrongfully terminated. And that's that. But yeah, it's just sort of like, well, now why we all got to get killed because you got fired? You know? Yeah, that wasn't the best sound bite for him to have. Of course, that's the one that they grabbed, and that's the one that's all on social media. But yeah, I'm going to need Chris Cuomo to, you know, you might need to handle that in therapy. He did say that there's some things that have affected a lot of people around him and that he's taking care of that and, you know, he's working it out. I'm assuming that means therapy is sprinkled in there as well. But, yeah, you guys, I don't know how his new show is doing, if it's even still on. I know that he had a show. Remember, we talked about it, but I haven't heard anything about it. So you guys will have to let me know about that. But yeah, Chris Cuomo said that he was about to go off the deep end, honey. Do that all by yourself. Thank you.
I can't hold a frown too long. I can't stay